Awesome.
Two basic foundational things would be, first and foremost, get him or her square behind the rifle, right? Because now that you guys have had some experience, you understand the benefit of getting as much body mass behind your rifle as you can. So that way your body is absorbing the recoil and keeping that muzzle as flat as we possibly can get it. So that would be something like somebody would be shooting in a situation where the rifle would be kind of in the pocket right over here, and they're bladed off and the left shoulder is forward, right? So what we want to try to strive to do is get squared up so both of our shoulders are 90 degrees perpendicular to the line of bore. That's the first thing, right? Once we get that done, usually it's trigger control. And so we see people do all kinds of funky stuff with triggers, different finger placements and grip angles and all those things. The main thing to consider with trigger control, remove all the angles, make everything either parallel or 90 degrees perpendicular. So first things first, when we grip the rifle, we want to make sure that if our finger is straightened off the trigger, that it's pointed parallel with the bore, right? We don't want to be pointing it down, we don't want to be pulling up, we want to point it straight. The next thing we want to do is place our finger on the trigger with the trigger bisecting the pad, the first pad of the finger, right? So we start there. Once we make sure that the hand angle is straight, we put the finger on the trigger, and then what I tell shooters is to build the grip going back the other way. So we're going to marry the finger to the trigger in the proper position, and then I'm going to grip the grip however my fingers fall, right? However they fall. Now I've set myself up in the optimal position to press the trigger straight to the rear, because that's the goal. The objective is to drive the trigger straight back and not have any angular either to the left for a right hand. Most people are right-handed shooters. They're going to put the very tip of their finger on the trigger and they're going to put a hook in there. I'm sure you guys have seen that before. If I have a hook on my finger and I press the trigger, there's no other place for the rifle to go other than that way, right? So I'm going to be pulling the rifle off the target when I press the trigger. So the other thing holds true if you have too much finger on the trigger, and we've seen people do this, right? They've got their whole finger stuffed in there and the finger's in the crease. We don't want that either, because if that's the case, now I'm pulling the rifle this way, okay? So we want to get 90 degrees of trigger finger, just like that, and press it straight to the rear, basically following the axis of the stock all the way to the rear. Just trying to press that trigger right into your body. That's what we're trying to accomplish. Those would be two things right off the bat that can clean up somebody's fundamentals really quick.